was it? What was the convo?
Fuck. It was about marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like long-term marriage. And like, like when fucking people sit around and argue about the like not having kids. Yeah, that was it. Not having kids.
In the dark world.
And it's
yeah. That we live in a privileged world.
Man? Like you live in the most privileged, and mind you, a lot of those people will come from some come from very wealthy, very established families.
Yeah, actually, I've seen that the more privileged people see it as a darker world.
Because do you know why? It's because they have everything already. I feel like it's because you've got handed everything to you that they are.
There's no game.
There's no.
But why do they think it's a dark world?
They just haven't achieved anything.
There is evil in this world. But like compared to forever, I think this is the best time to be.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like 500 years ago, even if you were in the top elite family, you still had to chuck a shit 500 meters away from your house. You could get bit by a fucking snake. You were in a hole. Like you were diseased. Most of your kids were going to die. You're going to have 10 kids.
Yeah,
4 of them are going to die.
And they were poor. Like everyone was poor.
Even if you were rich, all those problems still stay. Yeah. You're not fucking doing half the shit. We don't worry about food, shelter. I know it's different in third world countries, but if you're in Australia and you have a good job, and you think you are living better than 99.9% of humans have ever lived.
Come on.
I could guarantee you there wasn't a king 1,000 years ago that lives better than an average Australian does.
Why do you think we like to go to like Bali and Indonesia and Thailand and stuff?
Yeah, we have the freedom to travel too.
You have the freedom. Exactly. You go there, and bro, $1,000 makes you live like a king for a week or two.
Yeah, bro.
Like that's how people should reflect on these small things when you go to those countries.
What we have is crazy.
And like just your income in general, just your income that you make in Australia puts you at the top 5% in the world automatically.
Maybe it's the media. The media is always scaring us about, because that's how we get clicks about. I know global warming's a thing, but people are like, I don't want kids because of global warming. Like. That's a legit thing, bro. I've had some good engineer colleagues that have told me that.
Jesus.
What do you think about the people that say global warming is bullshit?
Look, I haven't like deeply looked at it.
Yeah.
But
what do you think?
When 95% of scientists that I view as much smarter than like me agree on one topic,
I think that's enough.
It's like the probability of me siding with the other one or like the other truth being true is a lot less.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to pick which truth I think is more probable. I want to side with the consensus of like all scientists.
I think global warming, that's what us is, because media and all that type of shit, they take it to another level of like, we have 20 years left.
Yeah.
We have 15 years and then we're all dying. I'm like, bro, like that's why you have people that don't believe in global warming, because you're saying this stupid shit. And you're using, what's her name, bro? Greta Thunberg. Like they literally put a child up in like...
We're at...
Greta Thunberg, that one. She started crying.
Oh, the Swedish one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro. And it's like, man, like, come on.
Like,
why are you...
I'm not going to believe in
why are you driving... Yeah, why are you driving such fear and anxiety into children, man? Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's, look, if there's obviously an agenda behind these things, and there's always going to be an agenda, whatever you do, but... Just chill the fuck out.
No, but it's so obvious that there's an agenda. Like, it's so obvious that they're using it for political gain. Like, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
But
look, we can talk about this forever, man. The agendas and people believing that there are 7 families that run the world.
What, like they're on the world?
Jewish families.
Let's get into the conspiracies a different time. There's too many topics.
There's too many topics.
The Jews.
But I think the big one is like
Jewish families. We talked about the Freemasons before.
Yeah,
that's fucking
like a cult, man. What do you think of a cult?
Yeah, what did you say? What you said before about the cult?
Cult and religions aren't that much.
People can make a cult.
They're not different, bro. Cults and religions are not different at all.
There's religions that are cults.
This is not a religious podcast?
No.
Trying to get people to join it. Minsifology is a cult, bro.
I think in general, I don't know if it's bullshit or whatever, but I think like a cult and a religion, they have started the same thing, man.
They have a lot of similarities. Yeah. Like, one is harmful, I would say. The other one can be beneficial. I think that might be one of the underlying differences.
So you think cults can be quite harmful?
Cults generally tend to be harmful. Cults, the leaders tend to progress a lot, while everyone else is left harmed, not even knowing. The whole world can see it, and they eventually realize it, but,
Is Mendaism a cult? Isn't it like a... a cause.
Look, I've always understood cult as more of a mini religion, mini cultural religion. It's like it can go either way.
But do you think? Because I would categorize it like one of the things a characteristic of a cult is that it stays like tight within secretive.
I mean,
do we not have that?
Yeah, but we still practice certain things that are similar with other cultures and other religions. I don't think we're a cult. I think a cult is. I think we're beyond that for sure.
Yeah. Well, what makes it beyond it? Is it like it's lived long enough that it's beyond it?
Perhaps.
Or is it the amount of people? So if a cult was to be big enough, does it become a religion?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's based on numbers.
Yeah,
really? I
don't know.
So
I actually don't know, man.
That's pretty dark in a way. Like if
the more people that follow it, the more likely it become.
Just because there's enough people following it, we take this negative term of cult and make a positive word. Like it just.
If enough people join the Freemasons, become a religion. That's fucked.
Like think about Christianity when it started.
Yeah.
Would you say Christianity started as a cult?
Yeah, there was a cult following.
Yeah, I think the early world would have seen it
as a cult, and
that's
then
why
at one point
they tried to destroy it.
And then at one point when what's his name, Constantinople,
one of the
kings of Rome,
he spread it.
He was like, I'm gonna make this the state religion, and then afterwards, boom, bro,
world's biggest religion.
That's it. So then it became a religion, but beforehand, would you have identified it as a cult or as a cult like?
But I think there's more to it.
I think there's more to it.
Because
I would not
just
put it with numbers and age.
Surely there's something in it.
I think a cult generally has an agenda. Like the top of the cult has an agenda. I think religion maybe once upon a time, I don't know, but I don't think religion doesn't necessarily have an agenda. Does it?
What do you mean by agenda?
It can go either way,
as in they're trying to achieve something?
The cult leaders do it for money, power. And
I argue some religions do it for money as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of religions.
Why do people ask?
This is a bit. It's a deeper topic, maybe beyond our stretches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can edit the fuck out of it so we can cut the dumb shit out.
But also okay, let's think about extremism and terrorism. They come from religious background.
But that comes from extreme people
who are utilizing the religious values and ideologies.
So they're hijacking the religion to use it because they're already extreme before. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but okay, let's talk about ISIS. Let's use ISIS as an example, right? ISIS is nowhere being as it doesn't represent Islam, with all respect to Islam and Muslim people out there. There was a huge sort of political movement behind it to destabilize the whole region at that time. But they utilized the idea of Islam and Islamophobia and to sort of manufacture a religious sort of movement.
Well, this hasn't only happened since ISIS. This has happened throughout.
Yeah,
it has happened at a large... The Crusades by the Christians.
Thank you.
Hundreds of millions of people going around killing others that were not part of the same religion.
So where does that keep? Yeah, so...
look, it's a tough one. I think probably a lot more reflection is required on that. The genesis of a religion. How do we think religions were created? Mushrooms.
That's
there's a whole book. There's a whole book. Yeah.
I honestly,
book.
I actually believe in that. I genuinely do believe it.
What?
Started with some sort of
revelation.
Someone was either. Well, it's gonna sound very offensive, but someone was either very schizophrenic,
or high.
Or they were taking something that they didn't know that would.
I don't think that was even needed in a world tens of thousands of years ago when very little was known by humans, but they were smart enough to start reflecting. The whole world was unknown. When you know nothing, you have to we humans come up with answers, and we came up with the simplest answers we can. So when we saw figures in the shadows, we saw spirits and ghosts. And when we saw things that were powerful and strong, we saw divine intent or a powerful being. And those were just the most simple answers we could think of. And it was natural for us to come up with that. Lightning, look how marvelous lightning is. Imagine knowing nothing about lightning.
I think it's magical.
Yeah, imagine knowing nothing about anything, but having the power of self-reflection.
You look up and you're like, what is this? Is it just bugs in the sky?
This scary fucking shakes the whole earth. What caused that?
They named gods behind it, bro.
But the thing is, look, for example,
The most powerful gods in all the ancient religions were like lightning wielders, just because it was that destructive and powerful.
So like it's something that we.
So it seems the natural order of things was like when you don't know the answers, you point towards a mystic, unnatural, supernatural force.
Yeah, like okay, let's look at the like the atheists out there, like who like I always use this guy Richard Dawkins.
You love him.
I don't love him
because he's not.
I used to look into him, but man, he doesn't look happy at all.
Like, yeah, but he admits that he's gonna die. Like unhappy. He admits that he's gonna die unhappy. He knows it.
Yeah. The crazy thing about religion is because it was so early and so primal and we started adopting it. The people that adopted it, like we are descendants of them.
Yeah,
we are descendants of people that have been religious for thousands of years.
And now we become.
And so now, if we, I think in that lies that religion has benefit. Like I wish I was deeply religious because my wiring wants me to. Because
yeah, I can see that.
Religion brings hope. It's like when
it's
you
a good purpose.
Yeah, it brings purpose. It brings discipline and brings rules.
You get peace out of it.
Yeah, and I think religion in a society tens of thousands of years ago was very useful. There's like wild creatures, undisciplined, to discipline them and to give them direction and purpose. And we are descendants of those. And we're untamed people.
And we're still, genetically, we're still the same.
Exactly.
Man. Like,
we are still wired. And then to give up religion, unknowing if it's real or not, I don't know. But I
think it's the mystery of it that keeps people going.
I don't think it's the mystery. Religion. I think it's what happens after.
It's like the mystery, yeah.
It's just a way of religion. Like, I don't think you can say this religion is true, this religion is false.
Religion is the belief in God, right? Like a certain God.
Oh, like in a super.
But there's religions that don't believe in God.
But are there religions then? They believe in, like, give me an example of
like
which
Buddhism.
one. Buddhism, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, or even like to be fair, Hinduism as well. But I feel like that's bordering it as well because they're not like it's is Hinduism monotheistic?
You know, most people will tell you it's not. Having looked into it a bit deeper, and I'm not saying I'm an expert in this, but there are like aspects of it that point towards one God.
Oh,
yeah. Like in Hinduism, what came first was not like a god; it was like the sound Om. You know how we have like people say Om.
Well, for us, it was just an idea that came into light. That was light.
For us, it was a sound that just spread throughout the universe, and this sound and this thing. Its essence is in everything.
So similar to us, bro.
Yeah.
So similar to us.
What does that sound represent? Because I'm sure that's a metaphor.
That represents
energy,
the supreme being, the supreme energy that governs the universe.
Right. How close is that to us?
Yeah. That's literally us, but except
and through that sound came the big divine gods, but they were just beings of that like energy.
It's so similar.
And so all the gods and things, they're just derivatives of that. And so are we.
So do you believe, like, do you guys believe in reincarnation?
We do believe in reincarnation.
See, Dad now believes in reincarnation. Recently, he's like, I think we continue.
When I was at that mundane event and you guys were talking about, like, your priest was saying the ancient prayer, he was saying words like Rabba, Brahma, Shiva, or like Ram. Those are literally the names of Hindu gods.
Yeah. It's very similar.
Your priest this was the ancient, like this was the language you guys no longer speak.
Ancient Mandarin.
At those words, when he was saying, I'm like, bro, he's saying the name of my gods. Like Rabba means God, Rama was the
Rabbi.
Yeah.
So surely there's a connection there that we haven't.
I think the underlying connection in all religions is pretty much the same. There's some sort of a supreme being.
I'm saying there's a connection between the religions, as in something came from something else that we haven't found out yet. Like historically, we haven't, because there's not much research into Mandaism, bro.
It's not. There's not much research. There's not much paper.
But I feel like
there's nothing.
All religions
have
similar genesis and roots. Like I don't know if it's because early humans were just moving around telling the same stories, and the stories that made the most sense caught on and spread, or if it was just the natural order of things that these different groups were going to come up with the same answer at the time. But there is a lot of similarities. There's a lot everywhere. Like now, one of the more recent religions in the world is Sikhism. You know, the people that wear turbans in India.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. They've been around for like a few hundred years. And they're monotheistic. They only believe in one being. They don't believe in the Hindu gods, but they came from Hinduism. But like one of the biggest thing is Ekonkar, which like is like Ek Om, 1 Om. It says 1 Om. So like you know how Om, when I was saying that sound, that divine sound. Yeah. So like they're normally a lot of people wouldn't recognize that, but it comes from the same thing. Like they still believe in that Om, and they believe it was just one.
But for them, they believe in this massive revolution that happened, like a military revolution. Was it the same thing?
Well, not really. So what happened was they had this leader, spiritual leader, right?
Yeah.
And he came to these realizations as like he was just a wise man, reflective, just like Buddha in some ways. Yeah. And he came up with this philosophy, and he was a very like peaceful man. What was happening in that time period in India was that the Muslim empire was conquering India. During this genesis of this peaceful religion came this struggle, and this religion had to adapt. So the birth of Sikhs, they all like, a lot of them eat meat, but like this guy didn't eat meat. He was just like the Hindus, and he was vegetarian. But as like fighting began and like he died, and he's like, you know, the next guru, the next leader took place, he died. They decided to pick up arms, and they're like, we have to be built for this. We have to eat meat to have more protein to be bigger. And we have to carry swords. You'll always see them carrying swords. But you know the bracelets they wear?
Yeah, the bracelets.
It's like an armor.
They used to be massive bracelets. Someone strikes you, boom, shield. You always had it on. It's one of the 5 things that they always have to wear.
It's so heavy. Like my mate used to wear it. It's so heavy.
And then the sword, they always carry a sword. But the genesis of Sikhism wasn't any of that. It was just about like philosophy and religion.
But then they had to struggle, and then they found this.
Yeah, it changed. And now there's a lot of different influences, and there's a lot of people taking in different directions, as religion often is.
Wow.
Because that's interesting, because compared to that, our response to like whatever happened in our context, whether it was like Islamic revolutions or whatever, our response wasn't to adapt. Our response was just shut everyone off, and then protect each other. That's why religion is shut off now. I don't think it was originally.
Look, that's the debate. That's still the debate, man.
But I don't think it. Like, I think it's pretty.
But like now you're claiming Mandaism is an evangelical religion,
as in that let people in.
Yeah,
I think it was when it started.
Yeah, but that's one thing I've always been very curious about religion. You guys don't let people in. So how did it grow? How did it sustain? Say when it started off. When did it start off? Ancient times, right? We're talking before. What's the biggest prophet you guys have?
No, before John the Baptist, before Jesus, it was all around. So it was like pre-Jewish.
And was it?
Yeah, but we've got to be careful, because now we're not. Now we're stepping out of historical context. Now we're going into like, oh, this is what we think.
Yeah. No, like the research has shown we're most likely to be a pre-Jewish.
But that's not consensus.
Well, we don't know the consensus.
No, we do know.
But like,
consensus
say
is like
I spoke to a historian that is in Europe.
Some would argue, some would suggest that we are a very early Jewish sector that just split straight away. Some say we're early Jewish. Some say we're pre-Jewish. Yeah. That's still up to debate. I don't know.
No one says that it's after Christianity.
No, we're way before.
Way before. That's the consensus that we're before Christian and possibly pre-Jewish.
You know how I can like.
But is this crazy that you guys have survived and like thrived for so long without letting people in?
We're pacifists, bro. We just join. We join whatever is there and like be like, cool, man. Like,
do you think it's like destined to die out with the rules in place?
I think now the biggest challenge that we have is this freedom. This new freedom. How do you sustain people from leaving? Every family that I meet, someone left.
Exactly.
It's like, fuck this, I don't want to do this. Yeah. And they just leave. Like, you can't know. And like me as a parent who's growing up to marry a Mandaean, or like a person who's going to be a Mandaean, I know there is a chance that one of my children may leave, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Which maybe once upon a time wouldn't matter. Imagine like 500 years ago when you had 10 kids and 2 of them fucked off and 2 died. But you still have 6. The religion is growing.
Still maintained.
Now you have 2 kids. One of them converts and the other one does something else. Like,
you just don't know.
Numbers game. It looks like it's going to die unless something was to be changed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think the only way that we can save it, because I do think it is destined to die out if we don't change something. If nothing,
but then who?
It's very, like, honestly, but think about it. Imagine 200 years from now, if we stayed at this course. Do you think, unless a miracle happens and everyone gets together in the church, or something crazy happens where everyone's together all of a sudden, which is highly unlikely.
And you guys know you have it the easiest out of like your Mandaeans because you have a community. So if you're seeing people leave the religion, even though you have a community. But that's like imagine a person
like
that
a small amount. It's still a small amount of people leaving the community.
But we're a small community.
That's because you're in a community. That's why it's only a small amount. Imagine someone that moved to Melbourne. There's no Mandaean community.
Yeah, he'll just be like,
there's only a Christian community. He's either going to stop practicing Mandaeanism or he's going to convert. Even if they stop practicing it, like say you move to Melbourne, you have a wife, your kid's Mandaean, but they never get baptized and they never know anything.
I know someone that
you think their kids will even know, or like it's. And as you guys venture out,
they become
without letting more people in.
Look, I always say something like they've had this discussion recently, and the reason why it came up is because you've had previous generations marrying and having kids that are non-Mandaean, but the kids are in the middle, right? So they're asking the priests for these kids to actually be baptized into the religion. So every once in a while, you'll have like a whole memo that's released by the church or our Mendi saying this is not allowed. There's no literature to support it. We can't do it. So the thing is, the priests do not have any papers or any sort of religious practice where it allows people to come in.
Well, this is like when you need a spiritual leader that guides, because this is when like someone like John the Baptist would have stepped in.
Yeah, well,
been like, hey, like previously this was done. This is how it's going to be done. And even then, because this is what God's intent is.
And even then, when John the Baptist did it, he welcomed back what we refer to as a Yahutai, who are not Jewish, but are the ones that are lost in the middle, yet they were still Mandaean at heart. He baptized them back. That's the ideology behind it.
Exactly. But if you guys don't do that now, if there is no deep thought done, like
we are facing a crisis. We are.
Look, there's a lot that I want to say about the priests, but out of respect, you can't. Like, I'm not going to say that stuff. But I feel like the priests really need to among the disagreements or whatever, they really need to come together.
Has this been raised with it? Has it been flagged? It's like, are you willing to let our religion die based on that? Because
that's a discussion. That's a discussion that happens at least every few months.
But it's not a discussion.
And it goes off on like fucking Facebook, and someone will claim something.
But it's not even a discussion. I don't agree, bro. I don't think it's a discussion. I think it's brought up with the priests and with people, and then it's dismissed after 2 weeks. It's dismissed. Like, it's not. There's no progression.
Do you guys have a spiritual leader? Do you have someone at the top?
Yeah.
And then
we do.
What is their opinion on this?
No.
But like when asked, it's just this question. It's like, hey, this is the facts. If we don't do this, the religion will die.
His argument is we've been dying for so long, yet we've survived. We will continue to survive. But that's their discussion.
But we're slowly dying.
It's like the maths I just told you. For so long, people had 10 children, and even if people left, and your religion still survived. When now people are gonna start having very little children, and people are gonna leave and disperse, it's not gonna go from dying slowly. It's gonna go to dead. And I'm not saying in 1,000 years Mandaeanism is going to die. I'm saying, bro, a few generations.
I'm
it's
saying
really
200 years and it's going to.
And you can't stop it. Like, I'll tell you what. Like, now
it's only going to accelerate.
My cousin got married to a Swedish.
Yeah, it's only going to accelerate as less people are left. The community dies out even more. Even more reason to leave.
It's like their argument on this is, if you do allow people to come in, you're likely to destroy the religion from within, because you'll have people coming in and changing the teachings.
No, that's not how it works, though. This is... All right, let's go back to our cult conversation. Cults have a lot of negative things, but there is things that can be learned from them. And one thing that can be learned is how to have a powerful following and how to keep an organization alive.
Yeah.
And a cult could not function if they had the rule of, let's not let anyone in. There's no, imagine that. That's not a cult. And all the negatives of cults, there is things to be learned. And if you want to keep something alive, it has to be like cults, they don't change their principal methods or rules. It's no one just comes into a cult and goes like, oh, this, let's change that. But once in a while, you do need something to keep it going.
But I think it might be too late to even if we were to
it might be
change it might be too late, because we've molded our culture and our religion together That,
we don't actually, as Mandaeism, like our identity is sort of like grows in the country you move to. Like we don't have a true identity. We've always seeked an identity.
But you guys have a culture, bro. Like I'm not even part of it, but I actually love how you guys have a community, and I love seeing that there's a different religion.
We do carry that around,
and we like, but like that is not gonna last, and I'd hate to see it die out. So if you guys wanted to keep it, this is from an outsider that you guys will have to.
You'll have to do something.
It's like Rowan said. Even if you may change, it might die out. It might,
but it's worthwhile.
If you don't make change, I could guarantee you it will die out.
Exactly.
It's not what the priest says where it might survive. If you don't make change, it will 100%. It's headed towards it.
And that mentality of like, if we let people in, then it'll corrupt the religion, bro. That's like an ancient mentality. That's the reason we closed it off at the beginning, bro. Like we can't have that mentality now because that's not going to happen now. You're not going to have a Muslim or Christian.
It should be if your religion is true and the teachings are true enough that people will not be able to change it, and that is where like God steps in. You know, like that's where your true belief, if you think it is,
and if you're, I think like if there's a way, I don't know if there's a way. I think I've dug into this so much, and I know there is no way to convince them to do otherwise. But if it is, I think people that are coming into the religion may add benefit, may actually start seeking, and you'll get more scholars, you'll get more smarter people growing in, and they're coming into it who will potentially improve their religion.
Because usually people that convert into a religion,
they really want to be part of it, man.
People that are born into it, they might like it, they might be passionate, they might not care at all. Those are the dangerous ones. The ones that like hate against it and know it.
Yeah.
Those Mandaeans that are like, oh, like our religion is shit, this, and they're born into it. Those are the dangerous ones.
But
the
sometimes
ones that
you're just marrying. Sometimes you're just marrying for the sake of marriage as well. Like if you're marrying from someone from outside, like, okay, let's say for example, you're Hindu, right? And you marry someone Christian, right? That means you're going to have two different wedding ceremonies. For us, it's like we can't. I mean, they can technically go to a church, but if you're marrying into our religion, they have to accept the faith and they have to understand and study the faith.
Yeah,
that's the main argument.
That's fine.
But then you can go the other way. Someone's like, I don't want to be part of your religion, but I still want to marry that person.
Yeah, but then have the rules there that like, look, if you want to be part of our religion, you have to adopt it fully. And if we're only going to half-ass it, we can't.
You can't do that.
Yeah, but there are people that are willing to fully adopt religions. And then, like, why is there...
Then our religion is very peaceful, man. It's pretty chill, to be honest. Like, it's so much into it. Like, I reckon you'll get so much out of it.
It's not just adopting. Maybe people truly believe it. Maybe it's not even they want to be married into it. What if someone's like, I truly believe in this way of living, and I believe it with my whole heart, and I believe your religion is true, and no, they can't convert? That is more...
No, we had one chick called Lady Drower who did a lot of research.
Yeah.
She's one of our astounded scholars. She couldn't. Obviously, they couldn't baptize her into it. They did like a spiritual baptism for her, but she was like, she's one of those people that will like,
be remembered
as a Mandaean, but it's not a Mandaean.
But like, is that not... She has done more and
than anyone else. Than anyone else.
And this is where... It's not for me to say, but like if you guys, this is a topic that needs to be raised. You guys could hold youth meetings, this, but knowing that it's inevitably going to die, what's the point? The main priority right now should be like, how do we keep this alive? Like this is where we're headed. We need to do something.
Look, the thing is, it's happened. It's happened so many times, and they just keep shutting it down.
Yeah, but you guys are beating around the bush with everything else. Everything else, you guys like it's just beating around the bush. It's the main priority is if this is not alive in 200 years,
what's the point of us doing anything?
Yeah, so let's focus on keeping this alive. What do we need to do? How do we take that to the people that can make change?
They'll turn around and be like, "Oh, make sure the families are growing well. Make sure the parents know their religion. Make sure they raise the kids." But you can't in
a democracy and in a community. What happens is if people start to see that way of thinking, even the ones at the top have to change. So, like, maybe if the elders or the leaders are too stubborn, if other parents and the youth can see that this is where it's leading, and they all come together to be like, no, this is the truth, the leaders will have to adopt that truth.
I wasn't against the kids born into mixed families to come in, actually. I was with that.
Yeah. Well, bro, you're going to need even more drastic than that. That's the very least.
Like, I'm like, these kids
are
lost. But it's like, that's a good way.
Step.
That's the first step into making changes, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, there's like, when they look at it, it's like, there is no scholars, nothing in our scholars allows us to do it.
Nothing in our scriptures, yeah.
Like, there's nothing in the scripture that you can follow. And it's like, bro,
why can you not pass to previous examples where that's happened. I guarantee.
Because they have none.
What about John the Baptist?
John the Baptist never did it.
No, but they do. There is an example of, I think her name's Maryam, the Jewish one. There's a Jewish girl who's literally in the book of John. Her story is she was Jewish and she became a Dane.
Because that's
I don't know. I don't know.
No, but that literally, it's in the book of John.
I'm sure there's stories, bro. I'm sure if your religion has survived this long, maybe it's not that the accounts are lacking. It's just like you don't have the text. Yeah, but there is 100%. I could tell you people have converted into it. For it to live this long, it has to be.
Look, the thing is that raised a lot of controversy. Because are we really that pure after all? Or are we not? Like, we are technically quite pure line. Like, we're quite in our lineage. We're very pure. Like, you're born into two Mandaeans. They have to check. They have to make sure. Man,
I think we're gonna have to let go of that.
Yeah, bro. Like,
if we want to survive,
it's a contradictory view believing all life comes from one thing, and then also contradictory to say when you're.
I'm gonna piss. You guys talk.
That's not to let it all out. He's like, Mandaeism is gonna die. Fuck, let me go take a piss.
But yeah, man. As I see it, everything else around is beating around the bush.
It's scary to think about, bro. It's actually scary because I don't know.
It's not only that now you're going to have people, like say this was allowed, it's not only you're going to have more people coming in, you're going to have people staying in. But you're going to have people not leaving. I know people I know friends that are Mandaeans that have fallen in love with someone that is not Mandaean or had like a relationship with them. And the biggest reason for them to ever doubt their religion, not the religion, but like to want to leave is because their love was stronger, you know?
Yeah, that is actually probably the most common reason for that.
Yeah, they believe if they fall in love outside of the religion, they'll be outcast. So they just leave the religion before they become outcasted. And so not only are you going to bring more people in, you're going to retain more people.
Which I think that's more important.
That was always my argument, but I sort of stopped talking about it.
Imagine like people... Because I know a lot of Mandaeans that are like, hey, I fell in love with a non-Mandaean because the community is small.
Absolutely.
And how are they going to... If they're going to be outcasted for doing that, how is the religion going to survive? They're going to leave. So now you have people leaving. And you do have people leaving. That's like everyone said. That's
I'm adopting that. I know for a fact that my rule will be no marriage from outside the religion because I know there's no way around it. And unfortunately, if this does happen, I will lose my kids. Like that's how it is.
That is
unless by then they change the rules.
Yeah, but that could be a reason. What he's saying is that's a reason why people leave.
That is why people are losing their kids. That is probably the biggest reason in your community that people are leaving the community.
There's a stigma around it. There's not much you can do.
But it needs change. I'm sorry to be the one to say this,
dude. We know that. We've tried, and the reason
if you truly value this. Maybe it requires more effort. Like, does this truly matter to you?
Bro, you keep hitting the wall, bro, every time.
You keep doing it more.
But the thing is, when we release this and we put this into Clips' conversation, I feel like...
This is going to generate a lot of talk.
Which is important, like, especially coming from someone who's not Mandaean.
Like, if we had Anwar here, I think Anwar would agree to a certain extent to a lot of stuff as well. Like, I think... I'm not speaking on his behalf, but I think he knows that it's just a numbers game, but we're not addressing it.
Right. Beyond Anwar, I think it's a rational youth out there, and... a lot of them would agree. It's not just us, or I think a lot of Mandaeans would be in agreement to this. So maybe it is something that needs to be at least being discussed.
I'll tell you what, like the parents always show me these videos of priests or somewhat like in the hierarchy talking about it, claiming there's been a state of conversion at one point. But they get shut down so quickly. They have to release like statements of apologies and statements of the fact that this is incorrect. So you get hammered and you get like crucified when you raise these things.
Okay. But let's say this conversation we have, this is now shown to Mandaean parents. What argument would they have against this? Because this conversation is to keep the religion alive, right? Like, what do you think they would say? What do you think your parents would say?
My dad is super against it, but he understands the importance of it.
Yeah, but like if you...
We've had a chat with him, right?
But have you said the things I have said?
No, we have.
And what did he say?
I think his belief at this point is just like...
I just want to make sure my kids get married.
No, I'm saying it's in God's hands. He's like, it's going to survive because we are the religion. It's us. Like, we have to survive. There's no other alternative.
Sometimes God works in different ways. I'm not like a super religious person or anything, and I don't know what my relationship with God is. But if I was to believe in God, I would think he works in different ways. I don't think it's just like you back out, put your hands up and be like, God will take care of it. Because Sometimes God works through you, and sometimes changes happen through you, right? Is that not how
of course
people work?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times people are like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. But like, no.
You gotta make the change, bro. If you think God is literally you're like, for us, we are a reflection of we are a reflection of God itself. Yeah. He has implanted I want to say, that entity, that energy is implanted in us as life,
and that's consciousness.
So if you're aware of this problem, you might as well just start enacting on it. But how do you really truly do it when you have priests that are not willing to adapt to anything because they can't do any, because it's the literature doesn't allow you to do
so. But you bring awareness and you keep raising a conversation in the most peaceful and respectful way. This goes back to those protesters. You don't protest like them. You don't piss people off. But you're like,
you have to implant an idea and see how it goes.
You be sincere and you be like, I genuinely think this is a problem that we all face. How do we fix it?
But then you just get excommunicated from the community.
For bringing up
there was a priest that got excommunicated, bro.
Our community has no problem just kicking someone out and not letting people in.
That's another reason it's probably...
Yeah, exactly.
It's like there was a priest that sort of went a bit haywire. Like, how you doing? Like, it was like he just went, he's like, we used to be like, bro, he used to have a massive gathering, bro. Like he used to fill like holes, like massive holes. Like, that's how good he was. And he said some stuff about, like, I drink from tap water and I don't drink from rivers, and it was just these simple technicalities. They crucified him for it. Then he was also like, we were at one point potentially a welcoming religion, and they said, no, there's nothing like that. It was all these things, and they all just be like, no, you're out. But man, mind you, like, he did do some silly stuff along the way, right? Like, and they just excommunicated him.
Remember, so every religion has been stubborn, but it's always been the prophet's job to bring about the change. Like, prophets have never been the ones that are in agreement to the current religions. Prophets are the ones that bring in something that is controversial. Jesus was a Jew, right? But he was against some of the Jewish ideas. He was crucified too, but he brought about...
He started an entire new religion after that.
Yeah, but like, that is what prophets do. And like, for you guys to be like, no, there is no change... It's like it contradicts what has traditionally happened.
But then what you're saying is prophets, when they come along, they actually introduce an entire new trajectory of this religion, right? Which means we will become something else.
We will not have this.
No, but like that's us looking at the bigger prophets, the well-known ones that had big changes. That's why they're known. But I don't think every prophet's like that. It's like
there's ones that come in as a spiritual leader per se.
Yeah,
and they make those small changes to allow growth.
Prophets are just. I guess a prophet is meant to be someone who's like.
A great public speaker. We were talking about that.
That's charisma, but religiously, I guess it's someone who has like a connection with God, and like through them, God speaks through them, and they are bringing the words of God to the world,
and you trigger people's ability to change their entire life.
Yeah,
look, I don't think we should wait on a prophet to come and save us, because I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
But if a prophet was waiting on God to make the change.
Exactly. So wait, are you saying there's someone in our community?
I don't.
I think anyone can do it. To be honest.
think now a prophet is a person who's just wise and willing to take a stance. I think
could be any of us.
Someone who has true intent and is ready to make change for the sake of the religion and steps in. I think that's what the prophet is now.
I think, as I said, like we were very heavily involved in it.
Yeah, maybe now it's not one person. Maybe it's like multiple. Maybe it's a group. Maybe it's just a group that really cares.
Yeah, like and it's always that talk of the town when it comes to the youth growing up, like around the 18, probably from 17 to 21, 22, when they were like, hey, like I'm mixed with different crowds. Why not? They get shut down very quickly. And they get shut in a way that there is no genuine, I guess, rational answer. And there's none. It's just like we were this way, we were born that way, and that's it. And I got to a point, I'm like, there's no answer to this question. There's literally no answer to this question, and I don't know how to. And all I can say is it's a form of belief, it's a form of protecting the community, and it's a form of retaining the traditional values of our religion. That's all I could say about it, because I wouldn't say I haven't thought about it. I've thought about it a lot, and I wanted to make a decision on how can we approach this. But you're fighting a losing battle like all the time, and that comes, and you
still fight it. Like if religion was like 10th priority in your life, If you really didn't care about it, you're like, oh, I wanted to survive, but if it doesn't, whatever. Like, I get it. But
I'm still choosing to marry a Mandaean.
If you guys are truly Mandaean, like you truly believe in this, and you're like God is real, and this is the afterlife, and our religion is this, then your number one priority should be like, I'm not that religious, so I don't go. But if I was a religious person, I could tell you, if I truly believed in a certain type of God, I would live by the practices and would want that too. Like that would be my priority in life. It would be family, religion.
And you get to face the backlash of family.
Yeah, but who cares? Because if you truly believe in it,
that shit doesn't matter.
The backlash. If you truly believe this is God and this life is just small and everything, there's eternity left. What? Everything you should do should be for that.
Exactly.
And there is certain, like Islam, I've had Islamic mates that when they follow Islam, they follow it truly.
Yeah, I've got a few mates like that.
I'm like, I don't know if I agree with some of their teachings or not, but I respect
someone that
they're not half-assing it. They're not like, oh yeah, I'm Islamic, but this. They're like, no, this is God's word. This is true, and I am so, like
invested.
Yeah,
like they don't change. And I respect that.
It's devotion. It's devotion. Devotion was the word I was looking for, and I think that's what. If you're truly devoted, you don't care about the backlash, or you don't care about that. Like if you truly make that change happen because you believe it, that's core to you.
And it's true. It's like it's very interesting because everyone experiences it at a different time of their life. Like everyone experiences religion, and religion grows with age. You become more and more, and that's one thing that we always talk about. It's like, why do you become more religious with age? I think probably for me, it's like fear of death gets you closer to some sort of.
I just think you experience more pain as you grow up. So that's why you need need something to kind of fall back on, I guess.
Yeah, that's the reasonable answer, I guess. Yeah. Like with less pain in the world, even though people argue otherwise.
Because pain, as you get older, like it's literally like what is it called? It's not an inverse thing. It's just like the older you get, the more pain you experience. Like that's just how it is.
You just accumulate more
more pain. Like it gets exponentially worse. Like people around you die. You have no friends at one point. Everyone all your siblings die out. It's just like
it's pretty fucking sad to be honest.
Like bro, that's like think about it. That's gonna be.
Hey
me
bro,
at
I have seen death at the age of 26.
Yeah, but no, but imagine,
and that shit hit me hard.
But imagine it's like your family. Those people that are dead, you don't know who they are. But imagine that's what I mean by it's exponential. Is that like it gets worse. Yeah, so that's why people need something to.
Would you say you're truly like religious, Jael?
I'm slowly becoming more and more as I'm choosing to choose because I've made a decision that I'm definitely going to marry a Mandaean, and I'm going to grow up in this community, and I want to make a massive impact on this community. I have become more and more slowly more religious. But more rational at the same time.
When I say religious, I don't mean like you're practicing it more.
You're saying, what do you actually believe?
Like deep down in your core, in your heart, are you like, this is the truth and it is not the truth?
It's becoming more and more clearer. I'm still battling. I have my battles. But day in, day out, it's slowly becoming more clearer because I think once I become fully like, hey, this is how it is. This is the devotion. I think I'll have a lot more peace in life.
Let's circle around to one of our earlier chats. About vegetarianism.
I know we're going.
In your religion, is like what's the stance on eating meat or animals?
You're technically not allowed to eat. I think it's cow. You're not allowed to
because it's a birth giver. Yeah. So anything that's a female, not allowed.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we eat chickens.
Yeah. No, but we don't eat. Do we eat female chicken? Does it matter?
Yeah, you eat roosters and chickens, which is weird.
Oh yeah, shit. Chickens are female.
So birds we're allowed to. Sheep, male sheep only, like lamb, yes. No females whatsoever. Fish, yes, perfectly fine. No pig, no bacon whatsoever. And the reason behind is because we believe that it's just a dirty animal, and it's been proven scientifically that it can cause stomach cancer and a lot of other abdominal cancers, intestinal. So we stay away from that. Like when we used to like slaughter the animal. Right, because we have our own practice of slaughtering the animal. Very specific way. We ask for forgiveness after doing it.
Then do you follow these principles?
To a certain extent, yeah. And I feel like I will adopt it more as I start a family.
Yeah. But if you were truly like, this is what God has set for me. Not like this is what's written by some religious person. Like this is would you not, if you truly believed it, would you not be like, this is there is a bit of doubt.
There's always, because as I said, when you become,
if your actions are reflected, like the Islamic mates I had working, when they truly believed it, it was no like, oh, like I'll do it for a month, and I was like, they're like, no, this bro, like this is haram. This is what God has laid out for me. And if they truly believed it, there wasn't like, I'll do it later or I'll do it now. It's either you don't believe it, and that's why you're not doing it, like, or you have doubt, or you believe it and you're like, this is God's word.
Yeah. And I agree. I'm still developing my religious belief.
Yeah.
So I'm still like, I'm definitely more religious than others. But the thing is, when you become more rational, it sort of puts a bit of iffiness into a lot of the approach.
It does.
So,
which is my struggle with God.
Yeah, because you're rational.
I want to believe with God, but like, you know, there's so many possibilities, and for me to just pick one, it's tough.
It's like, I'm born into this, so I might as well just embrace it. That's how I look at it.
So what do you sack the religion and all that? What do you believe about God?
I think there's something, definitely. And
what do you actually?
And
think?
I really have adopted Hayes' belief. Like I really do that. Like I believe in the energy and the way the
But do you believe in God?
Yeah, I believe in Hayes' version of God.
What do you mean? But what do you mean by that?
I believe in Hay. I believe in our teachings of Hay.
But what do you understand as Hay?
As consciousness, as life.
So you don't believe in God.
What do you mean? This is our life. This is how
our
religion is.
Do you believe in a supreme being, like one being that was outside of
that we can pray to and that listens to us?
But is that our religion?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what
and has that being set aside, he's come down to the earth?
No, nothing like that.
Or has he laid out a text?
Yeah. So the Ginza.
Okay. So that is the word of
That is the word of Hay. Yeah.
Yep. And whatever is in that is that is, you truly believe that. I believe the concept. I haven't. But they said
every time I tell you, like every time I read that book, I can't understand it. Yep. It's so poetic that sometimes I have to read it over and over again to understand a sentence. And every time you talk to a priest, they're like, once you understand it fully, we don't even have to teach you anymore. But I'm like, it's still very poetic and very out of our touch with our modern world. So how do we adopt it?
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Well, I think it's less about us using it for our like as a tool and just what you believe. That's when we had this conversation ages ago. I was literally just like trying to poke you and be like, what is it you actually believe?
The thing is, everyone believes in a different concept of hate or God.
I know, but when it comes to our religion, God is described as a specific way. We can understand it as consciousness, but that's not the way it's described in the religion.
Well, how is it described for you?
It's the way that it's literally described is the king of all kings. He has his own kingdom of light. He's sitting on a throne. There's a crown that's described in there. It's a he. Like there's a lot of the way that we read it is that it's a God. It's a literal God, and the reason that we pray is because we're praying to him. He can hear us. We can say that we believe in we believe it as its consciousness and all that, but bro, like
it seems like you're trying to adopt modern beliefs.
Exactly, which is fine.
But isn't that how religion evolves?
It does, but not if there is. That's how it evolves to me, who's an outsider and is trying to be rational. But if I was one who was devoted and believed this was the real text of God and the real word, it doesn't evolve until real God.
No, but the reason why a religion, I guess, continues to be around is its dynamic ability to evolve around times, and it benefits different people at different times in terms of the text.
But right now the adoption that you're talking about, the evolution that we're talking about, has no benefit when it comes to us surviving.
Yeah,
because our religion is still
I'm not
closed
talking
off.
about like that. I'm talking about like there's no contradictions. There's no like God said don't eat meat, and then like you are eating meat because you think maybe like you're trying to justify it somehow. Like if that in the text it says a certain thing, and that if it says God is a he, you couldn't be like, oh, maybe that means it's a female too. Like if you truly believe in it, and it
but the thing is, the he and she, like there was no gender. It was just the fact that because they translated, they used those words. But in Aramaic words,
but that's just an example.
That's an example.
But like I'm just saying, if there is certain things that are outlined and these are, the words of God, then those are the words of God.
See, the reason why I adopted it this way is because, as for a rational person that's growing in this country, how am I going to teach it to my kids? How do I keep somewhat a mundane belief running around? I can't teach it the way our traditions and our countries previously have taught it. We have to somehow make it easier and digestible to our kids.
Fair enough, but like they're going to understand it a specific way.
Yes.
And then they're going to digest it a different way, and they're going to take it to their kids. Give it 3-4 generations. It's not Mendaism anymore.
All right, let's bring it back.
Fair.
Back
I can't argue that, bro.
But, but that's the shit truth. But that's the truth that we can't that's what it is.
But now trying to dig deeper into you. I was bringing it back because recently you've highlighted to me a couple times your desire to hunt. It's a very primal desire that has been wired into us. So I don't even blame you. Like somewhere deep down,
I just want to fucking shoot, man.
To have a gun and blow off a deer's head or something. I would never because it goes against what like my morals and my teachings. And, like I
agree.
But the desire's there. Would I ever act on it? No. But for you, it's almost been like if you found a mate right now and he's like, oh, I've got a Jeep and we're going next weekend, you would.
Yeah, I've been talking to Seth. Seth's like, let's do it. I'm like, let's do it.
This is you and your brother, religious men of the order, knowing very well that
it's against the natural order.
Yeah, that it's against God's teachings. So do you truly believe in those God's teachings when you're able to...
No, you're breaking the rule.
Yeah, and it's not even a rule that
you're breaking
needs
the belief
to be acted on. It's not like you shooting that deer's head is going to save your life or whatever, or you're even eating it. Maybe you could justify that, I'm killing it to eat it. But no, you're killing it because you want to kill it.
Yeah.
You could... the desire
somehow
it's
like
the hunting desire.
Your natural human instincts kick in, and I think part of the religion is it allows you... It sets those moral compass where it's like, hey, those natural instincts you have to clear out.
Instincts and wiring
versus
primal
versus religious.
Yeah, and when they go against each other,
we always end up revolting to the instincts.
But not
if
everyone.
You truly believe that wouldn't happen.
No, I know. Like once again, religious people that are truly religious,
they will never. They will always maintain.
If they're like, this is a rule. Why would I break it? It's not even like a desire for them. They're like, fuck it, bro. That's me for like, I could not.
I think it takes years to develop that discipline.
It's not discipline.
It's belief.
It's a form of discipline.
But it's belief.
But believing in something is a discipline.
If you believe that if you shot that deer, you would die, would you shoot that deer?
If I shoot that deer, I'll die.
Yeah, if you shot that deer, you'll die.
Yeah,
shoot it?
No.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So that's true belief. Like,
so that's true belief.
But I'm saying but it's belief, but it's also discipline. It's engraved in you as a young kid.
Bro, that's not like, it's not that easy to not shoot something.
But using a very extent.
Okay, wait. I think this is your argument, is that if you can, let's say we believe everything in our religion.
Yeah.
We follow every rule, we say that we truly believe, but we still eat pork. That cancels out everything else.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. That's what he's saying.
I agree. What did I say?
Is that what you're saying?
I'm like, bro, I'm still slowly. Once I become full religious, if I do.
The desire to shoot something in this modern day, it is just like you have to go so out of your way to do it.
Yeah, we're still wanting to do it. And for you to
willing to go so out of your way and to also go against your religion, like, do you really respect your religion?
I don't think so then. You're right.
Yeah. So maybe it's like a deeper search inside you to be like, what do I truly believe in? Like how.
And we're still searching that. Yeah.
Which
I've always said that. I've said it's a strong like.
And I'm the same. There is certain things I'm still searching. Like even my search for God, I don't currently really deeply believe in a God, but it's not the one that's been closed off.
Yeah. It's just like I'm searching. But I love what Mandaism teaches and what it preaches. And yes, I still do a lot of things that I potentially just contradicts the fact that I'm a believer.
Well, I hope the next time you go to shoot a deer in the head for the sake of shooting a deer in the head. Yeah, I hope this conversation comes up.
Like, do I shoot it?
Yeah.
But like, you see how it's...
I see the primal urge. I see hunting seems so fun.
Like, we're still killing animals for the sake of eating them. And it's like, hey, you said you're allowed to kill this, and that.
Yeah. But there was a purpose. And I know a lot of people that hunt, they would justify with that purpose, but no, it's not. They're not doing it for the food.
You're doing it for fun.
Yeah, there is
for
a
pleasure.
Primal instinct which is in every man, or like a lot of men. It's because we're wired for it. I recognize the evolutionary line there.
It's hard,
but
it's hard with all the instincts and all the sort of desires around you to stick to something.
In fact, that is one of the biggest arguments I face when like people try and convince me against vegetarianism. They're like, but it goes against evolution. Like, our wiring is to eat these animals because it is beneficial. But they forget that evolution does not dictate morals. Evolution had nothing to do with
morality. Does not give a shit.
Yeah, evolution was just like what in its time period would help you survive the best.
Yeah.
And if one decision helped you survive better than the other one, that is what you were wired to do. So back then, having a passion to hunting, being good at it, and then having to eat meat and being like open to eating whatever, kept you alive. In the time when food was scarce, that was fucking deal, like, you know, make or break.
But now you have everything at hand.
Yeah. But so that's why the desire is there. That does not dictate morality. There is a million things like cheating is wired into us because sleeping with multiple people and having your genes spread diverse, like that would keep your, blood alive. But does that mean cheating is moral? Like, does that mean rape is moral? Does that mean many other things, stealing is moral? Like, once again, I don't think morality and evolution have anything to do with it.
Well, we're starting sort of adopting more of this evolutionary thing because it's taught in high school and it's taught at university. So it makes sense to introduce it into discussions.
People confuse morality and evolution, and they're not.
No, they're not the same. I think morality became more aware as became more conscious.
Yeah,
and that's what, because back then there was no, perhaps a very complex brain. Right, like the prefrontal cortex allowed you to become more conscious, allowed you to become more self-critical, and that itself is morality.
To be honest, controversial opinion, I think people are more moral in peaceful times. I think now, with these privileges that I have and this beautiful, easy life, I can be moral. I could be vegetarian. If the world was dark and
you can't.
Eating meat would be the last of my worries. I'd be more afraid about my kids and my family and my parents before I even cared about the neighbor or some random animal. But now we do have that in a peaceful time when we can be self-reflective and strive for something higher.
I think that's one way to look into it, and that is making sure that now that you have everything on the table and you have everything that you can.
What are the things that truly
why can't you not become moral? Why can't you not become religious? Why can't you adapt a particular set of beliefs and just stick to it and stick to your guns and not have the impact of the world around you change you? It's hard because everything is on social media. Anything can make you change these days.
What do you reckon, Rowan? What's your take on all this?
So we can end this bloody fucking episode of 57 minutes so far in the second half.
Bro, and then the other half.
Bro, you just get carried away, man.
We're going to have to cut a lot.
That's
I think we'll target the main.
That's all right.
Yeah. We can still upload the whole thing, like an hour and 40 minutes or whatever.
I think certain topics is cut out, but like certain topics that are hard hitting, like the mundane topic might be
that could generate. Yeah.
I think the last 40 minutes of this might be one that could be like carried out.
Yeah.
Keep it there.
We'll figure it out.
And even the first half an hour was alright, but I feel it was just boring. Anyways, what do you think?
I was just gonna ask you, like, do you think morality is objective?
No.
You don't think so? The idea of then that means religion is completely cancelled out. Then any religion is completely cancelled out.
Yeah, this is coming from a non-religious person.
So you don't think it's subjective? You think it's more?
I think as a religious person, it would only make sense to feel that it's objective. And if you thought, if you're a deeply religious person and you thought it was subjective, there's a bit of contradiction happening there.
Then you're not deeply religious.
Yeah, but me, who's not deeply religious, I do think it's subjective. I think morals change. I think
depending on the environment.
Yeah, depending on the person. You could be like, for example, this is my thinking. I think if the world continues to progress and it becomes even more peaceful and more prosperous, 400 years, people are going to be more vegetarian vegans. It's going to be on the rise. It's going to spread. And they're going to look at people now in history and be like, bro, that guy ate meat.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Bro, that guy, he accomplished such great things, but he used to eat beef. Nah, bro, he's a bad person.
Yeah.
Me, do I think they're bad people? I don't think people right now that eat meat are bad people at all. I don't think so. Because right now the morality is that it's not bad. And I'm bringing this up because I reflect now. I see people judging people of the past based on the morals of today. Some of the greatest people to make the biggest change didn't have the thinking of today, and they could be classified as racist or misogynist. And for example, Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves or like made a law to get rid of slaves in America, he still thought that black people were inferior to white people.
Yeah.
He thought they deserved rights. That's why he wanted them to be free. But he thought they were inferior. Do I think Abraham Lincoln was a bad person? am I going to judge him on today's morals and today's knowledge and today's understanding?
Like, he'll be shocked with today's morals.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
But he was ahead of his time. He was way ahead of the curve.
These are the people that make changes.
But the thing is with that is that
it's like the prophet, pretty much. He was a prophet of his time.
Now you have people that we have statues of these people that 100 years ago were heroes in Australia that are being torn down and names being changed because we're like, oh no, they killed this. In a time when killing and conquest was moral and normal, and we're judging them based on today's standards.
That's very harsh.
Of course, everyone in the past is going to seem immoral.
Because I feel like you go down a rabbit hole with that logic, because then you go to that you said killing now, but then you go to rape. And you go to owning slaves and that kind of stuff, which we can't it will be very hard for us to say that those people were good,
evil. Yeah, today we can't say they're good people, but
back then it was normal.
Are we in the shoes to say that they're evil people? And it is very easy to say they're evil people, the ones that own slaves, because it seems so evil, and it is evil.
Yeah,
but
back then it was the norm, mate.
Yeah, so
born into those families.
If you're eating meat. And 1,000 years from now, if let's say assume 99% of people are vegetarian, are you an evil person?
No.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
The same,
So it's just it's tough. It is a tough topic, morality.
Let's conclude
this session.
With words of wisdom.
Great chat, boys. Great being here.
We'll do more. Now let's do it. Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom.
So give us some final words.
I've laid down enough of my wisdom.
Surely just one thing.
I've been talking.
Or a story or whatever.
Story. Is this how you guys normally finish?
Yeah. We finished on words of
wisdom. So we ask
everyone,
words of wisdom.
Actually, I can't think of it. You guys give me some examples.
All right.
My one has always been the same.
I feel like I've said enough.
My one has always been the same as embrace failure. Embrace failure in life.
Yeah.
That's mine. That's me.
I have a lot, but I just...
Okay, let me give you something. If there's one thing that you can say to kids that are my age that are struggling with religion, what would you tell them?
With religion?
As in they're battling with religion, whether if they're just struggling with religion, with what they believe and what they shouldn't believe and all that. What should...
I think when it comes to these things, it's about deep reflection. I think I'll give advice for them to try and learn the most and to reflect on it. Don't just keep getting distracted by TikTok or Instagram Reels. But it is cool to reflect. That's what men have always done. Yeah. That's what we're known for. And the greatest men or even women, were reflectors. So come to whatever answer you want. Be religious or don't be religious, but make sure there's some critical thinking and some deep reflection in there.
Educate yourself.
Fucking best words of wisdom.
All right, boys. All right. Peace out. Thank you so much, Eashan. This is going to be a cool episode,
boys.
Man.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, bro. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Pause.
The red button.